Enzo Fernandez trying to pick out Elise on the right-hand side, sorry. It's a great ball. Elise shifts it onto his left, goes for the finesse. It's just over the bar. Jonathan David just trying to fashion an opportunity here. Gives it to Joe Linton. He strikes with his right, and it's off the post. Welcome back, everyone, to a brand new episode, and it is the start of Season 2 in this Newcastle United career mode, and it is a season in which we will be playing European football for the very first time in this career mode. We absolutely overperformed last year. The objectives of the board were to finish mid-table. We absolutely smashed it. Missed out on the Champions League by goal difference. Ended up 5th in the Premier League table, and we will be playing in the Europa League this season. However, it is all change at Newcastle United as far as the board are concerned this season, as they are not happy with a mid-table finish. Instead, they want us to go one step further and finish in the Champions League. They want us to win the FA Cup as well, and they also want us to win the Europa League. However, looking at the squad now, I think we are in a much, much better place to get the job done this season. Looking through, we've got so many more players that are rated 80 plus, not just Kieran Trippier. We've got Nick Pope, Sven Botman, all my midfield trio. We've got Isak up front, and we've got St. Maximan, and as well, looking at the bench, we've got Jonathan David. Brennan Johnson has gone up from 75 in Season 1 all the way up to 82 now. Unbelievable. Elise's growing. Joe Willockes, we've got Livramento, Ryan Sessegnon as well. So we've got players with loads of potential. We've got players that are starting to meet their potential in the high 80s, high to mid 80s in Bruno Guimaraes' case. And I definitely think with one or two more signings, we could definitely challenge for Champions League football and hopefully get our hands on some silverware this season. And speaking of transfer business, the Newcastle owners are putting a marker down this season. 158 million we have to spend. Now, whilst I mentioned we do have a pretty decent squad overall, there is one glaring issue we have, and that is at the heart of our central defence. You'll see I've got Sven Botman up here, 23 years of age, rated 83, but he is the only centre-back I've got that is rated 80 or above. The others I've got are Dan Burn, 31 years of age, 77 rated, and his contract's expiring in 12 months' time. We've then got Jamal Esqueles. He is also rated 76 actually, 29 years of age, and his contract is also up in 12 months as well. And then we've got Fabian Schär, like the other two, his contract's up in 12 months, 31 years of age, and he's only 78 rated. So none of those players are going to get any better. The only man who's going to be at the heart of my defence this season, as far as I'm concerned, is Sven Botman, who was an absolute monster last season. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to stick all three of those guys on the transfer market. I'm not actually going to plan to sell all of them. I'm just going to stick all three of them on there. Hopefully, if I can get rid of two of them, I'll replace them with two better defenders. And then whoever's left, I'll probably see how much money I got on the transfer market. And then if I haven't got enough, I might offer them a little contract extension. But I'm definitely going to look to sell at least two of the three and then hopefully spend big on some important new centre-back signings. Before I do that though, I'm going to head over to my transfer listed page and you'll see that I've got an absolute shed load of players either that weren't good enough for me last season or have been out on loan, have come back and are not going to be good enough for me this season. So before I make any new incoming transfers, I've got to get rid of the dead wood first. Once I'm able to do that, I'll then focus my attention on trying to bring in better players to improve the squad. And after some back and forth negotiation between myself and the Celta Vigo boss, I had to settle for a £5.5 million offer for that man. Jamal Lascelles will be off to Spain, more precisely off to Celta Vigo, in a deal that the board will be absolutely delighted about. An A-star rating. That is pretty much the first time I think I've ever got an A rating on FIFA. But that now opens the door for another centre-back to join. And with Manchester United supposedly lurking in the background, I've had to move a lot quicker than I would have wanted. And I've had to pay a lot more than I would have wanted as well. 75.2 mil more than I planned on spending for that man, Tomori, the man from Chelsea, formerly of AC Milan and now of Newcastle United Football Club. Another A rating signing for the board and also a crucial player to tick off one of the board objectives. At 25 years old, English and rated 85 with unbelievable physical and mental stats, he is a man that is very, very easily going to slot into the heart of my defence and going to be a key component in our fight for Champions League football this season. Dan Burn is the next man out the door. The man is so big, his head can barely fit on the screen. 6 million from Roma in Italy, and that is another central defender off the books. And again, that opens up the door for another centre-back to join Newcastle United. And after more back and forth negotiation, this time with the manager of Borussia Dortmund, I can confirm that we have another centre-back joining Newcastle United, and he will go by the name of Nico Schlotterbeck. 54.4 mil from Borussia Dortmund. He will come in to challenge Sven Botman on the left side of my central defence. It's another crucial signing, and it's another check off the board objectives for this season. And whilst he doesn't seem to be getting the same fanfare that Tomori did with his new signing announcement, he does have fantastic stats. 6'3", 83 rated, only 23 years of age. He's got high attacking and defensive work rate, and his physical and mental stats are pretty decent as well. So as I said, left-footed, he's got the same rating and age as this man Sven Botman. He will work out to be very, very stiff competition for the man who was an absolute monster at the back for me last season. Now, with only £31 million left in the summer transfer budget, and with 2 of my 3 transfer listed centre-backs now out of the club, I have made the executive decision, as you will see, to offer a contract extension to this man, Fabian Schär. Yes, he is 31 years of age, and yes, maybe I could have got some money for him. I just think I don't want too much upheaval in my back line, and I'm going to keep him one more year. He was pretty decent for me last season, and I'm hoping he can do a decent job in rotation this season as well. And with my change of heart and with that new contract extension, he seems like he is a very, very happy man, and that is exactly what I need heading into a new season. Apart from that though, it's pretty much now full steam ahead to try and get rid of the remaining players I have transfer listed at the club. The first one out the door is Isaac Hayden. He's off to West Ham for a pretty decent sum of 6.1 mil. I've got Anderson and Agyemang, who have both gone out on loan, and finally Keelan Watts, who's left the club for 1.5 mil. I've still got some outstanding transfer business that I'm waiting to hear back from, waiting to see if certain players will accept contracts, but we will see as the episode goes on whether or not they will do that before the end of the transfer window. Now, somehow, in spite of only selling a couple of players, I seem to find myself having 50 mil in the transfer budget. Now, I've made the executive decision that I don't want to bring in any more players, and the reason for that is because I want to ask you, who do you think I should bring in? Now, in an ideal world, I've got 3 unbelievable central midfielders, but actually, in terms of backup, I've only got a 77 rated Joe Willock and a 77 rated Joe Linton. So I'm thinking if I'm going to bring any player in, it's probably going to be a central midfielder. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. What central midfielder can I bring in for maximum 50 mil that could potentially improve the midfield that I've got already? Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll be sure to check that one out and hopefully see if I can bring that player in. But for now though, it is back to the important stuff, and it is back to the very first game of Season 2, and we are up against Norwich, a newly promoted Norwich, at St James's Park. It's a wet and windy day here at St James's Park, but as you'll see, the players are ready, the fans are ready, I'm ready. Let's get down to business. And as you'll see, my starting 11, the usual 4-3-3, but it will be a starting debut for Tomori, the usual central midfield, and it's Alexander Isak to take his place up front again, and St Maximin, who will play on the left side of that attacking trio. Tomori with his first touch in a Newcastle shirt, and it's a pretty solid pass into Enzo Fernandez, but St Maximin now picks it up on the left-hand side. He goes into Enzo Fernandez once again. Enzo Fernandez going to try and look over the top into Elise. It's not the best ball, but it's headed straight back to him, and he can pick it up and he can get a second bite of the cherry. I was trying to pass that into Pobega, but it wasn't the best pass. Tomori, though, steps out well and picks the ball up. It's Pobega into Enzo Fernandez, tries to go back into Pobega. It's a good pass, and it's better defending from Hanley. Rashica for Norwich gives that straight to Alexander Isak, and he now can outmuscle the defender and try and drive onto the edge of the penalty area. He's going to try and cut in. There's no one showing any options for him. And in the end, I just run straight into Sorensen. It's now Ryan Sessegnon on the left-hand side. He's going to go out wide to St Maximin. St Maximin goes in field to Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez trying to pick out Elise on the right-hand side, sorry. It's a great ball. Elise shifts it onto his left, goes for the finesse. It's just over the bar. Giannalis with the throw, out wide to Zara. He plays it back to Rashica on the left-hand side. It's Trippier trying to get across to him. It's a great volley. And Norwich City with Nunes take an unlikely lead here. We've been all over him in this first half, but we absolutely fell asleep there. Norwich making us pay, and they take a 1-goal lead here at St James's Park. Sinani goes infield to the goal scorer Nunes. We've got to try and keep tabs on now. It's Sinani. Nice ball out to Max Aarons on the left-hand side. And Sessegnon, though, manages to get across, just keeps it in play. Nick Pope now to try and get this one clear, and he dinks it over nicely to Kieran Trippier. Trippier goes in field to Pobega. He finds Enzo Fernandez, can try and find St Maximin on the left-hand side. It's a great ball into him. St Maximin with time and space to run into, goes for Isak. It's a great save from the goalkeeper. Tomori into Bruno Guimaraes. Nice turn away into Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez into St. Maximin on the left-hand side. St. Maximin tries to cut back inside. Going to look for Enzo Fernandez again. He tries to find Elise. Shifts it onto his left. Goes for the finesse. Great save from Krul again. Trippier with the resulting corner. We've got to see if we can try and fashion some sort of decent opportunity here, but it's a really poor corner and it's out to Enzo Fernandez. He's going to give it to Kieran Trippier for a second bite of the cherry. He whips it in to Isak. It's a poor punch from the goalkeeper. Pabega picks it up. Volleys it straight into the arms of Tim Krul. Sven Botman now for Newcastle. Tries to drive forward. It's good defending from him. Drives forward. Gives it into Alexander Isak. Alexander Isak tried to find Elise on the right-hand side, but he was blocked off, and now Norwich can try and counter. It's a brilliant, brilliant piece of defending from Sven Botman again. It's now Elise on the right-hand side. Elise to try and put a ball across. Pabega. It's another big save from Tim Krul, and we just can't seem to get past the Dutchman. Kieran Trippier with the throw. It's Elise now to try and whip a ball in. It's a good ball in, but Tim Krul easily able to collect that one, and we give away a foul. Tomori here now plays it nicely into Pabega. Pabega turns. Gives it to Kieran Trippier. Trippier's going to try and find Brennan Johnson, the substitute on the right-hand side. Finds him well. Brennan Johnson into the box. Looks for Isak. He didn't decide to hit it. And instead Enzo Fernandez did. And it goes well wide. It's Nunez now, the goal scorer for Norwich. Trying to find an option. Goes right and gets it back again. It's Cantwell now. Ends up getting a challenge from St. Maximin. Max Aarons puts in a thumping challenge and actually got away with that one. It's Sara now for Norwich. Turns, gives it into Rashika on the left-hand side. He looks to try and play a ball over to the other side, and instead it's actually headed clear. And now St. Maximin into Isak. He now finds Pabega. Pabega to drive into the box. This has got to be the goal. Oh, what on earth am I doing? Why on earth did I not just hit that? I tried to be clever and play it across the goalkeeper, and instead just gave it straight to the centre-back. What on earth am I doing? As Norwich now try and counter-attack. It's Rashika on the left-hand side, gives the ball away. Can Norwich get on the end of it? No, they can't. Enzo Fernandez can, though. He now drives forward. End-to-end stuff here. Going to try and release Brennan Johnson on the right-hand side. He's got the pace to drive forward. He's got so much pace. Is there anyone in the box? It's a great ball across. Can we get on the end of it? Yes, we can. It's St. Maximin who finally gets on the end of it. The Norwich players fall to the ground. They cannot believe it. They held on for 93 minutes, but in the end, the firepower of Brennan Johnson and St. Maximin was just too much. It was a great ball across, unbelievable pace shown by the substitute. It's a great ball, and St. Maximin was on hand to plant it into the back of the net. Tim Krul will be absolutely devastated. He's been fantastic all game, but it wasn't good enough. We get the equaliser here. St. Maximin puts us level here, 1-1. And the referee blows his whistle. It's game over here. That was the last touch of the game, and what an important touch that was. Saves us from an opening day loss. It finishes here 1-1. Not the result I wanted, but it's definitely better than losing. It's 2 points dropped, and it's a draw to kick off our Premier League campaign this season. We're going to follow that game up, though, with another game against a newly promoted team, and this time it's away at the classic yo-yo team, West Bromwich Albion. They always seem to go up and down from the Premier League to the Championship, and this time luck is on their side as they are in the Premier League, and they are going to face off against a team that needs to get a result after a disappointing 1-1 draw in the opening day of the season. First week fatigue has more than likely kicked in for my players, so I've had to make several changes. Livramento comes in, as well as Joe Linton and Joe Willock in the centre of midfield. Brennan Johnson, the assist maker, also comes into the starting 11, with Jonathan David replacing Alexander Isak up front. It's Dyke for West Brom. Tries to drive forward. Bruno Guimaraes trying to come across to cover him. Doesn't do a particularly good job. It's Wallace now. Nice play, but gives it straight to Sven Botman, who gives it to Joe Willock. Can we now try and strike a counter-attack here? It's a good ball forward into the path of Jonathan David. Picks it up nicely, trying to look for runners ahead of him, but can't quite find any. So in the end, I'm going to try and go all the way over to the right-hand side to Brennan Johnson. It's a great ball. Brennan Johnson takes that one down very nicely. It's Livramento. Goes in field to Bruno Guimaraes. He shifts it onto his left. Looks for Jonathan David. Jonathan David just trying to fashion an opportunity here. Gives it to Joe Linton. He strikes with his right, and it's off the post. Tomori. Oh, nice stuff from Tomori to get away from two West Brom players. It's Willock all the way out to St. Maximin on the left-hand side. Tries to shift it onto his right. Took too long. And it's easy for West Brom to try and clear it away for a counter-attack. But they give it straight away to Tino Livramento. Joe Linton now into Brennan Johnson. We are all over West Brom at the start of this game. It's a decent ball in, but we just couldn't get on the end of it quickly enough. And now Bruno Guimaraes, though, does so well to win it back. Gives it into Joe Willock. Shifts it onto his left. Goes for the strike. Brilliant strike. Even better save. West Brom have got a free kick here in a pretty dangerous position if they can find a decent ball in, but they can't. Nick Pope easily collects that one, and now it's our turn to try and strike a counter-attack. It's Joe Linton into the path of Brennan Johnson, and he has pace to burn. Oh my word, look at the pace of Brennan Johnson. Whips a ball across. St. Maximin's there. It's a carbon copy of the goal against Norwich. It's brilliant play, brilliant pace from Brennan Johnson on the right-hand side. Whips a ball across. St. Maximin unmarked at the back post, slots it past the goalkeeper, and it's 1-0 here. Wallace now for West Brom, trying to drive forward, but ends up giving the ball straight away to Matt Targett. I've definitely noticed the difference here. West Brom, infinitely worse than Norwich, to be fair. Joe Linton plays a ball into Jonathan David for 2-0, off the bar, but it doesn't matter. It goes into the back of the net. Breathe a sigh of relief there. I've got to be completely honest. I thought he was going to blaze that one over the bar, but he does a really good job of finishing it. It's a nice ball through from Joe Linton, who didn't really get too many opportunities in the first season, but with Champions League football to fight for this season and with European football to play, he will definitely get more games this season. Jonathan David, though, through the legs of the defender, off the bar, slams it into the back of the net, and it's 2-0 here. Townsend for West Brom. Plays that forward into Rogic now. He tries to drive forward, but he's challenged so easily by Bruno Guimaraes, and we can try and escape once again with the ball. It's Joe Willock now, out wide to the left-hand side to St. Maximin. He's got options in the centre. Can he try and find a ball? It's a good ball. Oh, my word. What a fantastic diving header from Jonathan David. It's his second goal of the game. It's our third. It's too easy, and it's another goal. It's 3-0. In the end, gets easily challenged by O'Shea, and West Brom can try and launch a counter-attack here. And that is a brilliant ball out wide to Wallace. Liveramento's got the pace to keep up with him, though. Can he keep it from going in the box? No, he can't, but Tamori can. Lovely defending from him. And now we can try and strike a counter-attack. It's Bruno Guimaraes, sprays a lovely ball all the way out to St. Maximin on the right-hand side. He goes infield, looks for Joe Linton. Joe Linton picks it up, strikes it straight against the defender. Can Guimaraes get there? Yes, he can. It's Tino Liveramento now. Goes back infield, gets it off of the fallen Brennan Johnson, who picks it up, goes for the cross, looks for Jonathan David, can't quite find him. Townsend now for West Brom, into Dyke. He now turns, tries to get away from Tamori and does really nicely to lay a ball out wide to Wallace. Going to try and get past Liveramento. Can he try and see if he can get a ball in? Liveramento defending absolutely fantastically. Plays a ball to Joe Linton now. Joe Linton now going to try and go over the top, out wide to the right-hand side to Brennan Johnson. He picks up the ball, and oh my word, look at the pace and trickery of Brennan Johnson on the right-hand side. Whips a lovely ball in, and that is sensational. Joe Willock with a brilliant header after some fantastic work from Brennan Johnson. He has been brilliant today. It's his second assist of the game. He's gone past 3 players there on the right-hand side, and that is a wonderful cross. The defender in no man's land. Joe Willock just arriving late in the box and places a lovely header past the goalkeeper, gives him no chance whatsoever, and it's 4-0 to Newcastle United. Townsend for West Brom gives it to Yokoslu, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Tries to give it to Dyke. Dyke turns, almost gives it away, but gives it to Townsend, who gives it to Rogic. We do want to keep a clean sheet here. Sven Botman on hand to intercept very, very nicely. Joe Linton, though, to escape with the ball into Brennan Johnson, the danger man. Look at the pace of Brennan Johnson. A Brennan Johnson who's now rated 83 after going up from 75 in the first season. Goes onto his left, goes to strike, and it's a brilliant save from the goalkeeper. St. Maximin with the corner. We're going to look for a fifth. It's a great ball into Slotterbeck. Oh my word, he's just come onto the pitch. I've literally just substituted Sven Botman for Slotterbeck for his debut for Newcastle, and with his first touch with his head, he absolutely smashes it past the goalkeeper from a corner. It's 5-0 here, and what a way to mark your Newcastle debut. Absolutely sensational. And that is that. The referee blows his whistle. It's game over here. It was an absolute rout. My best ever result on this career mode so far. 5-0, and it was all too easy. West Brom exposed to the harsh realities of moving up to the Premier League, and we made absolutely no mistake in front of goal. That man, Jonathan David, with 2. Brennan Johnson as well was absolutely spectacular. It's a brilliant 5-0 win, and what a way to kickstart our season. And that is actually where I'm going to end this episode. 2 games into this brand new season, and we sit second in the Premier League table, 2 points off of an Arsenal team that have started on absolute fire, winning both of their games. And with Carl Darlow and Alex Murphy both leaving the club for a combined 4 mil, that has now given us £55 million to spend, and we've got just over 1 week to spend it. So let me know down in the comments below who you think I should bring into the club for a maximum of 55 mil. I'm looking for a central midfielder, but I'm pretty much open to all suggestions. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. But that is it for the end of this episode. Thanks so much for watching. If you have enjoyed it, please feel free to like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you again next time.